me for yet another Notre Dame recruiting video. My name is Brad Hughesby, and today I will be breaking down Notre Dame's offensive target board. Did this video in mid-March. I try to do it every 2 months. Of course, new targets leave, new targets enter. I believe I had Zach Evans last time on this board. No Keenshawn Judkins as he was not offered. Emeka Megway could also be on this. There are pretty much 7 backs to know, but to make it look nice, I just included 6. But Emeka Megway is another guy to know. I will start with Judkins getting recruited by Penn State, Michigan, Florida, Auburn pretty hard. Yale is also in his top 7. I don't see him ending up at Notre Dame at this point. I think he can make a summer decision, and Notre Dame will need a fall decision if they miss out on Singleton, Sawchuk, and Hayden. So, yeah, Judkins, not too sure. Brian Payne, I think he's going to end up at a Northwestern or a Florida. I'm not really liking Notre Dame or Alabama's shots. I think Penn State might be the 5th school. Not completely sure, though. Don't quote me on that. But Brian Payne is definitely another back to know. He was offered last summer. I believe it was June or July, maybe August, by Lance Taylor, of course. And he's been in constant contact. Nothing has really picked up, though, as he is in the second tier of backs. The last second-tier guy to know about is, of course, Damari Alston. This dude has been offered for a while as well, last fall, I believe. I would like to say these picks also are not logical. I made the Hayden and Alston pick back in March. Hayden is going to end up at Ohio State, I think. Alston, I don't really know. Georgia Tech has been very involved as of late. Penn State is another team to know. Indiana just offered. Maybe Deshaun McCullough can pull something there. I wouldn't be shocked. Alston, I don't think, is leading anywhere. And if Notre Dame can come around this fall, if Sawchuk, Hayden, and Singleton go elsewhere and pick up Alston, that would be a massive pickup indeed. Now moving to the top tier of backs, we have Dallin Hayden, who I do think will end up at Ohio State. Things have been trending that way. His dad, of course, played at Tennessee. Took a self-guided tour to Illinois, Ohio State, and Notre Dame a few weeks ago. And I think Ohio State went right to the top. He's a big Ezekiel Elliott fan. And right now, Nicholas Singleton is no longer scheduled to visit Ohio State for an official, and I think all Dallin Hayden needs to commit is an official, and I think that's what it's going to be. So Hayden, I do think, ends up at Ohio State. Singleton, it's right down to Penn State and Notre Dame. This will be an interesting recruitment to follow. Official visits will be everything. Right now, though, I do think Penn State holds the lead, and I do think he would end up at Penn State, but we'll see what happens. Crazier things have happened, and this is a really tight race. Gavin Sawchuk, the last running back I'll touch on. I do think Notre Dame leads right now, which some people might find shocking. I've said this before, though, but Oklahoma's going to be hard. Both schools have one running back committed. Sure, Raleek Brown is a near 5-star, and Jadarian Price is a mid 4-star, low 4-star, but still, it matters. Gavin Sawchuk said it doesn't matter to him. We'll see if that is really true, but I do really hope he ends up at Notre Dame. All right, next we're going to wide receiver. We have Xavier Bradshaw as our first guy we'll touch on. No leader there. If Notre Dame wants him, Notre Dame will get him. Simple as that. Contact has been somewhat. He's definitely not a top-of-the-board guy, but with Jordan Johnson leaving, there's a real possibility they take 4 wide receivers. I think them ditching Amorion Walker is no longer a possibility, for anyone wondering. Nicholas Anderson is a guy who, if I had a pick, I would put in a pick for Notre Dame. I like where things are going here. The staff is treating him as somewhat of a top target, talking to him a lot. He's 6'4", 200 pounds, from Katy, Texas. He plays the best of the best. Has a brother, Rodney Anderson, that played in the league for a few years and played as a running back for the Oklahoma Sooners. So definitely very athletic family. Oklahoma's not very involved there, by the way. I do think Notre Dame holds a big lead over pretty much everyone else. Joseph Griffin, Boston College commit. I do think he sticks with his pledge to Boston College. Some would call it the little brother school. I won't say that. But Joseph Griffin was offered a few weeks ago. It was a little questionable offer. If you're going to offer a kid committed somewhere else, why don't you offer Reggie Florima from your backyard here in Naperville? Just a few a few hours drive from South Bend, but it is what it is. Reggie Fleury, I really hope he somehow ends up in this class, but it's not looking likely. Joseph Griffin, though, 5'6". I think he's more of a 5'7" guy, according to Rivals rankings, but he's definitely not a top of the board guy. Really raw. I saw his film; it was great. I'm gonna be honest, but just hasn't shown it in the camp setting. He is at Rivals New Jersey's camp today, though. I'm filming this on Sunday, May the 16th, at around 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern. So we'll definitely have more on Joseph Griffin. I might make another video on his recruitment in a few weeks or a few days. Andre Green, top right of your screen. Georgia UNC will get his 2 official visits this June, and then he has 3 more for the fall. Notre Dame misses on Merriweather or Williams. Green becomes a top target, and then I could very well seeing them land him. Andre Green has really no leaders at this point, other than maybe UNC or Georgia, just because he's taking officials there. But Georgia, they get who they want, and the majority of the time it's from kids down south in Georgia, Florida, etc. So I could definitely see UNC being the lead, but super open recruitment, really no leaders there. 52 offers as well. CJ Williams, last guy, another 50 offer guy. I see him ending up at Notre Dame. I do. With all that's going on at these other schools, Ohio State is looking like they're going to land Caleb Brown. So they're going to have 3 wide receivers. They're not taking a 4th. Texas is definitely a school to monitor, but their momentum has slowed down a little bit. Alabama has cooled on him somewhat. They still talk to him, but it's not as fluent as it used to be. Of course, his dad played at Alabama. USC is just, I don't know. To him, I guess it's not that special. Notre Dame is more special, and that's exactly what you want to hear if you're a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. So CJ Williams, I do expect him to end up at Notre Dame. And then Tomias Merriweather, a guy who all Notre Dame fans know and really covet. I think Merriweather might be better than Williams. I think if you land Williams and Merriweather, that might be the best 1-2 punch you could have possibly landed out of any wide receiver, maybe excluding Caleb Brown. But Oregon, Stanford, USC, and Notre Dame. It's pretty much the West Coast schools and Notre Dame. 2019, as a freshman, he took a unofficial visit to Notre Dame before he had an offer from the Irish, just because his dad said, you can go to any college for a weekend with me for, I think it was his birthday or something. And he chose Notre Dame. He could have went Ohio State, Alabama, Florida, Miami. Could have went anywhere. Could have went to Miami for vacation. But he said, you know what? I'm going to go to South Bend in the late fall and see a Notre Dame Fighting Irish game, and that speaks volumes. So Tobias Merriweather is a guy to know, and a guy I really, really hope ends up in this class. He was a sophomore, actually, I think. 2019 sophomore. Sorry about that. Last but not least, the offensive line. These 6 are really the last 6 to know. George Fitzpatrick might be on there as well, but Notre Dame has maximum 3 spots left. Rice, I don't think ends up at Notre Dame, but hey, last visit of his 5 official visits he will be taking in June is to Notre Dame. You never know. Blake Fisher will be on campus. Maybe they can work some magic. I don't think he has a leader at this point. Jake Taylor, I do think ends up at Alabama or Oklahoma, in all honesty. I think his recruitment is kind of dried out, but if a good official visit to Notre Dame could really surprise some folks and could really change some things, so we will see. Joe Brunner, all these guys, by the way, are taking officials in June. George Fitzpatrick is not. I want to make that clear. Joe Brunner, I do think ends up at Wisconsin. A good official visit, though, could change some things. He's also taking an official to Ohio State. So he's Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Ohio State. I believe Notre Dame is the last one. Ohio State is the second one, and Wisconsin is the first one. Emil Wagner, I think, is going to end up at the Ohio State University. He did not have an Ohio State offer before I put in this little snippet of his Rivals profile. He's going to end up at Ohio State. I think there's even been a future cast put in for that. Sad. I really liked him. Carson Hinsman, I do think ends up at Notre Dame. This is a kid who people have pegged to Wisconsin for a while now, but I think Brenner is definitely a lot more likely to end up at Wisconsin than Hinsman. And Hinsman would be most likely a center at the next level, maybe a guard, but I see him as a center. Pat Coogan is also a center. We'll see how that works out. But Hinsman, huge fan of his game, and he would be an A-tier center for sure. Billy Scrouth, another guy to know. Offensive guard, I think at the next level, could play offensive tackle. He's a big boy. Surprised he's not committed, but he will, I think, commit on his visitor right when he gets home. So, yeah, don't worry about Billy Scrouth, guys. All right, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. I will have the defensive one soon. Peace.